Good morning, Suzanne Joy. Let's tune in.
Good morning, Deborah, LeeAnn.
Would you like to introduce our topic?
Yes, today we are diving into Gene Key 40, which is written by Richard Rudd. And this is moving from the very human state of exhaustion. Exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the repressive and um, the
Reactive.
reactive natures a little bit later. But out of that exhaustion comes the gift of resolve, which I feel like we're moving out of that shadow state all up into the gift state now. And that I want to call our human state. And then we also have the Siddhic state, which is the highest essence of consciousness, which is all about divine will.
Okay, so as usual, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you because I feel the collective exhaustion is real, is heavy, is creating a lot of illness and depression and so much anger on this planet. It's also I really like how, well, I don't like the fact that Richard brought up the collapse of certain institutions, that when this has been a prevalent shadow with too much excessive power, excessive, um, uh, people wanting more, then things tend to fall apart. And we're at that level. We're at I really feel that Mother Earth is exhausted. She pours her energy into all of us all the time. And, she gets to a breaking point and she's like, okay, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever, that's just going to be the way it's going to be as she recalibrates herself. So how do we, even though we may be moving into a space of resolve, the light worker people, thank God, to help balance this, the heaviness of the collective is a real factor. And I'm feeling it lately in my physicality. And I just want to address that, like, yes, and it doesn't mean that we're less spiritual and that we're less of a teacher and we're less needed. It means we just need to keep tuning back in,
Right.
finding the resolve.
And I believe that's really, I know that I've been feeling that for the past several days. And but recognizing our choosing, bringing to light the unconscious within us, which in this particular case, when it's in the repressive side, it's acquiesce. It's when we give our energy away constantly and we just, we want to make everything nice, and it drains people of their energy. They don't understand their own boundary of their ability to hold themselves in that state. They just constantly are giving people energy, and they can be manipulated. So that's not right. Or right. That's not the full essence of who they are. And then the contemptuous, that's the anger that bubbles up, that rage that bubbles up. And that's, it has a lot of it, as Richard says, roots in a difficult childhood. And it kind of like pushes people away. And I think of like a hermit inside of a house that is just like pulls the curtains closed And
closes off
they close
the
off.
support and the divine support that's there all the time. Yeah.
They close off completely. So, and this, when I look back at this key, we've talked about this many times, it's like energy efficiency 101. And when you're born, you have your own particular natal chi, that is your energy life force. And then you have energy that flows through you. But when you're in that exhaustion, the food that you eat is not replenishing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the system is a little out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can put a strain on your system. So,
and think of that on a collective. I think of this as being way beyond our individual. Yes, it is our individual, because he said that this can actually be what's causing so much of the cancers that we're all suffering from. But it's this noticing that humanity is tipping towards the excess space, because that's where we have to go before we're going to come back to balance. So we are in this, we're breathing the water or breathing the dirty air and drinking the not so clean water all the time. And so how do we to me, I keep going to, it's beyond my ability to change it. And I'm like, no. So here's my paradox: personal will, divine will. I grew up with those as being tenets of the Catholic faith, that you surrender your personal will to divine will. And that was even Carolyn Meese's work that I studied in the 90s, and the chakras, and the throat chakra was about surrendering personal will to divine will. And I never could understand it. It drove me crazy. I'm like, well, what is this divine will? Don't we have personal will? So the closest thing, I woke up, I love contemplating this stuff. You just let it bubble around and float around in there. And I wake up to the life is the dancer and you are the dance. Not life is the dance and you are the dancer, which I had it backwards for a long time. Thank you, Eckhart Tolle, for getting that super clear in my mind. I had to pull up the quote today and noticing how many times people were looking for the quote the opposite way. No, we are not the dancer. We are the dance. We are that, what did you call it? That natal chi. We are that essence that is uniquely us. So how do we play with that, staying in that essence and letting life do what it's going to do? We can choose to tap dance, or we can choose to do a lay down, what do you call that? Like a savasana, like when you're laying down at the end of a yoga class, an integrative dance. But that's our part. The rest of life is going to do its thing. So right. I just want to play with dropping. What does it feel like to drop into the utter relaxation? And again, this goes back to trust, right? Deep surrender to what is. We can't change it in this moment. We can't change it, but we are changing it by staying true to this. Okay, I'm done lecturing. Your turn.
Well, it's really, I feel like this key is a lot about balance too. I mean, there's times where our spirit inside of us like flourishes and the fire energy is coming up and bubbling up and is creative. And then there's times where we go inward and we digest and we process and we hold that space for ourselves to dream up a new dream. Or so I feel like there's this space, but we don't take the space a lot of the time. We just feel this need to go, 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 go.
Which is exhausting.
Exactly. And so this key is a reminder of the tenderness and the programming partner's tenderness, the tenderness of being able to surrender to life itself as the dance, right? So sometimes we're lying down and sometimes we're up, doing a cha-cha, right? So I kept hearing CTFO,
Yeah, exactly. Well,
you know,
because and this is where the exhaustion comes from, where we think if we keep doing something or thinking something, or there's spiritual exhaustion too.
yeah.
If I could just get more light in me, then I could be more, no.
No. And there is psychic exhaustion for sure. And so when I first started tapping in to the realm, I just wanted to be there all the time. And there definitely is an exhaustion to that. So being in your body and actually doing, chopping wood, carrying water is, important too. And then also resting. And it may not, look like anything to anyone else. And that's okay. Like, you do you, boo. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what is going on in other people's lives. You're living your experience as your life chi, your embodiment of who you came to be.
So I have a mudra and I want to close on a prayer. What else would you like to introduce before? Or do you want me to do the mudra first?
Sure.
So the mudra, I love this, um, is taking like your right hand like it's a bowl, and you put it down right next to your belly. So I kind of have mine right by my belly button, which is fun because it feels like I'm collecting and appreciating and allowing and receiving from that. The left hand takes your middle finger and index finger, and your other fingers are pointed back with your thumb curled over them. And it points down and it goes underneath the bowl that you have. So at your belly is this, and this is going down. You're pointing down. So if you're sitting, your hand is almost to your knee, but you still are in the air. So what it is I'm surrendering, I'm allowing, I'm sending my energy down into, while still collecting, because everything will show up. This is what I love about the divine will. Things will be there to support us if we just let go. Stop trying to manage it. So that's going to be my mantra today. I did look up the word mudra, and I noticed how Siddhic mudra, he calls it the Siddha hand mudras, but it's a symbol that goes back to Hindi and Buddhist traditions. So I just wanted to share that. So
And when we're in that complete physical relaxation, that's when our body can optimally function.
Yeah, and to me, it's like recalibrate. It's like, oh, here I am.
Every molecule can function doing its job.
Yeah, such a good reminder. So, a very short prayer that comes from the seven sacred seals, of which the divine will is the first seal. And when it is completely opened within humanity, we will actually transmute all fear, which is a lovely thing. So, holding your palm on your belly, angels and beings of the pure light, please help me to purify and transmute this dense, low frequency karmic energy into love, into light, into purity, into truth, into the spirit of divine tenderness.